Oh, they say these women, they look at you and they've got the
women.
Fuck me eyes, and Jess has got fuck you eyes.
And now, Cheese Wits.
Right.
Thanks for sending shit to the most tech-savvy guy in the country.
Listen, if you don't know how to check your text messages, I don't know what to tell you.
I just did because I was checking my FanDuel to see how I was doing.
Oh, your
FanDuel. I didn't have a text.
You know how to check your FanDuel.
You sent it at 3:56. Come on.
You mean 4 minutes before we're supposed to start?
Yeah, but it's not on my hip. I'm checking 10 minutes before.
Did you need it an hour early?
No, I am ready to go 10 to 15 minutes before. Hold on, let me record us.
Hey, Wally.
There you go. What the hell happened to Chris?
I don't know. I haven't heard from him. I sent him the text as well.
No, I saw he put something on about 2 hours ago. Said he has the flu now.
Yeah. So.
And he looks like a politician.
Yeah. So we have a guest. We have a fill-in guest.
Yeah.
Who?
I am your new Chris. I am your new Chris now.
Oh! Wait. I have a big mug. He has a bigger mug. What the fuck?
It's
Size
bigger than my mug
friend.
too. Wally, why can't we see you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you're not getting me. Hold on. Maybe I have to give this messenger permission.
You do.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yes, I'm going to allow it. You're beautiful, girl.
I know.
Hey.
There we go.
All right. So Wally.
My cup is big. Look at his cup. It's fucking huge.
It's head size.
Yeah. Wow. That's some kind of head.
I was going to say.
That's fantastic. You must
look at the
girth
on that thing. Look at the girth.
I'm looking.
Because that's what matters.
Now
that's right. It's not just how deep it is. It's also how wide.
Anyway, now we're going to have the same problem with Brad that we have with
who's our guest?
So this is Brad, and I think we're going to have the same problem with Brad that we have with Chris, which is that you're significantly quieter than Wally and me. Oh, because we have microphones.
Well, you guys have these professional setups,
Yeah.
And I'm just jerk off on earbuds.
Don't let the setup fool you. I might have the setup, but I don't necessarily know how to use any of it.
So Brad is another radio friend. The difference is, unlike with Chris and with Wally, Brad and I have never worked together at the same radio station. We haven't, have we? I don't think.
No, we've worked in the same state at the same time, but never at the same station.
Same state. We've been in the same region, and so we ended up at a lot of the same events in the region, and the record label people that we worked with were the same, and so at industry events we would end up in the same place, and so we became friends and made fun of everybody else.
We're both snarky motherfuckers.
Both
so we
snarky
would always
motherfuckers.
gravitate towards one another. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew Jess is snarky. I don't expect Jess to have any friends that aren't snarky.
Well,
because I don't see normal people liking any of us for the most part.
That's true. That's true.
Just common folk. They don't like us. Well, let's just face that fact.
They like us in 30 and 60-second increments when we're talking. And then if they actually get to know us, they're like, you're really an asshole.
They like us when they think that we're just being funny. When they think that we're just kidding.
We might as well be. Yeah, exactly. We might as well be the Amish. We have been shunned already.
These worldly people.
We're constantly on the Springsbringer or whatever that thing is. They go and they try to decide whether they're going to stay Amish. That's it, Rumspringer.
What did you call it?
That thing. Springs.
The Sprungspringer.
I don't know. So listen, I know that Brad does not know that I am a technical fucking wizard. Because I'm not a technical
We
wizard.
discussed that briefly when you were trying to get into the chat room.
I have learned how to communicate with Alexa. I learned her name.
Not Gail?
Over the last week.
I feel like I should be like this. I feel like you guys are like this and I'm not. There.
It's because she's
I've learned her name. I know it's not Gail. That's why she never communicated with me. So I do have.
Gail!
I've learned a few things. So I know she's not Gail. I know she's Alexa, and I've gotten to learn her a little. So I've got a couple of questions. I'm going to show you how her and I have bonded.
Okay.
Alexa, who are you?
I am the motherfucking queen bee.
She's the motherfucking queen bee.
Wait a minute.
Yes, she is.
I'm the
wait a
motherfucking
second.
queen bee.
Alexa, who is Gail?
She is a cunt.
My girl knows her shit.
Chris is going to be so sad to have missed this.
Wait. Alexa, who is Siri?
Siri is the apple whore that can suck my big tech dick.
Oh, Jesus.
And I have one last question for my friend Alexa. Alexa, where is Chris?
Poor guy, he has the flu. He's got it coming out of both ends. His bathroom looks like hell and smells like shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Wally,
And there you go.
I have
I've
to
bonded with her.
I'm really impressed. And the question that I have for you now is, which of your grandchildren did that for you?
No. And this is the hardest part about doing this, is Alexa won't say swear words. So you have to figure out how to fool her into saying swear words. Like,
how do you do that? Like, I've never heard her say motherfucker.
Yeah, I spelled it differently and I split it up, and like to say shit, I just said, say she, little space, it, and when she goes it together, it just sounds like shit. Cunt, I think I spelled cunt Kuntt or Kunntt, so she didn't, so the whatever's going on doesn't recognize it, but it took me a while to figure out how to get her to swear.
I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. From the last episode when you didn't know her name to now. That's amazing.
I really wanted. I tried so hard to figure out how to change her name, but you can't change her name because you can change her wake up. They give you choices. You can't create your own wake up word. Yeah. I wanted so bad to say Gail, la 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 la, and for her to just start talking. I really wish Chris would have been here for this.
Well, he'll hear it later and he'll be sad.
He crucified me last week. He crucified me good. I deserved it. For sure I deserved it.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've graduated. If you've taken the graduate masterclass in Alexa engineering, I think you've passed.
Right?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not fucking bad. I'm
quite impressed.
My wife was not as impressed. Jody was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing
But that's only because she hasn't heard that episode yet.
Right. Well, so I tried very hard to pass by. I had a joke. Well, this is where you guys might want to move away from me, because I'm going to talk about the guy Damar Hamlin just a little bit. The guy who had the heart attack on field.
Yeah.
So I said to my wife, I said, hey, what do you think of this setup? I was going to say, hey, boy, my heart goes out to Harry Hamlin and Lisa Rinna. What a tough week they had. First, their son Jeremy runs over himself with a plow truck. And then their younger son, Damar, has a heart attack on the field. She didn't get it. She didn't at all get it. And I'm not trying to make fun of any of these people at all.
I mean, I think you can now because he survived. I think he's starting to transition into the window.
And it was a fucking heart attack, not based on anything other than it's a real thing. He doesn't have a bad heart or anything. It's just
he got hit.
Blunt force trauma or something called that. Yeah, it's called. It's got some sort of name. I forget what it's called, but it has what the hell is it called? Cardio and socio. I don't know what it is, but it's a real thing. But he's fine. He's tweeting during the game. He's all good. But my point was of that whole thing was, man, why do we pay so much attention to the worst things that happen in life and ignore all the? We monetize all this shit. We don't. The media monetizes all this shit. Every fucking bit of it. As long as they can monetize it. And after it's over, it's over. Like, look, he had a charity raising money for kids' toys. It raised $2,500 over the last few years, couple of years.
$2,500.
And in the last few days, $2,500. It was originally set up to raise money to get toys for his mother's daycare. But in the last 3 or 4 days, it's raised $8 million.
It's insane.
That's insane. Yeah.
And most of and a good portion of that money comes from the NFL itself, from NFL owners and teams and players and da. And the guy, this is again, this guy Denny Kellington. Do you know who he's the guy who administered the CPR on the field and saved his life.
Yeah.
Now he's like the assistant athletic director or something.
Yeah, right.
For the Bills.
So he was doing his job. That's his job. He's a trainer. He's an athletic trainer. That's what trainers do. They're trained in that kind of shit. Plus they fix hurt ankles and put tape on, all that shit. They now want him to be in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Wow.
I mean, I have to say this. The majority of the time a team trainer spends with a roll of tape in his hands is about 90%.
Oh, absolutely.
The amount of time that they spend doing CPR on a dead person is probably less than 1%. So it is remarkable that in that moment, but I heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard that there were like 3 to 4 emergency room doctors that just happened to be either on the sideline or in the stands. So he got like incredible immediate attention in addition to the CPR on the field before the ambulance even pulled up. So he was very lucky for a lot of reasons.
Listen, if you're going to have a heart attack, that was the place to be that day.
It was for sure. Yeah.
Because, 1,000 people, I did the research before I opened my big flap. Jess, you know me well enough to know that I will research shit to death a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So about 1,000 people had a heart attack on the same day. About 1,000 people have heart attacks every day in this country. So, it happens. Why people go batshit crazy over it is unbelievable to me. Let's go batshit crazy over some other shit.
Well, I mean, it is
important.
unusual for it to happen, in front of a huge crowd on national television to a 24-year-old.
Yeah.
So, I could
for sure.
I could justify some attention on that.
For sure.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
I think the fact that an NFL game got canceled, stopped, I think that it was broadcast live on TV. Everyone watched him literally die and then be brought back to life. And then the fact that this son of a bitch got hit so hard it stopped his heart has got everybody talking about the safety of football, which, I mean, they used to play in leather helmets with no face mask, for God's sake. So they weren't hitting less hard 50 years ago than they are now. It's just...
Well, they were probably hitting harder. They were probably hitting harder because most of them were doped up.
Yep.
30 in the 70s and 80s. Those fucking guys in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, those guys were playing high.
They were juiced as hell, too.
They were juiced like crazy. And they were using all kinds of, painkillers and numbing stuff that were administered by trainers, so they could go and play. Oh, your fucking meniscus is gone? Here, take a shot. You're all set. Get out there. Oh, rotate. It's bone against bone. Big fucking deal. Let me give you a shot. Get out there.
Well, you guys being in radio probably run across some of these events where you have like a charity event or something and a celebrity shows up. And if you've ever seen an ex-NFL player, even I'd say 40 years old or older, I think the threshold is lowered to 40. Those sons of bitches can hardly move.
Oh, yeah.
Like they walk. I mean, you see a 40-year-old guy walking around and he looks like he's a 90-year-old man. His knees are all fucked up. His hips are all messed up.
A couple 3 years in a row, I did the Patriots charity basketball. They'd come in, they'd play like with against a radio station, and some of their most mobile players, who have been out of the game 5 years.
Right.
Fucking man, they were all kinds of pads and tape and hard walking, and you're like, holy shit.
That's one thing I vividly remember from the O.J. Simpson trial, when they would all the coverage of him every time he walked into the courthouse, out of the courthouse, and he couldn't move. Like the guy had a hard time moving, and he at the time was 45 years old?
Yeah.
Had been retired for a decade or 12 years, and like it just messes you up some figures.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does. Those are some big and they're huge motherfuckers. If they weren't big, they'd be fucked.
Yeah.
They're just they're sort of like big dogs. Like Jess, I've got dogs. You've got dogs. Big dogs have the same.
Oh, he's even got a cough button. Isn't that cute? He's even got a cough button. You are a professional. There's no cough button on my earbuds, by the way. So if I'm going to have to cough, you're going to hear it.
It's not so much a cough button. It's just an on-off button, but you can call it a cough button.
It looked really fancy, Wally. It looked like you hit the cough button.
Reach for it. I did this. Well, what do you want to hear? This?
It's what you're going to hear from me at some point during this podcast. So
it's fine. I'll just edit it out.
Hey, Jess, any new looks at your abode?
Yes, as a matter of fact. Okay. So first of all, I have found a place.
So does Brad know you're selling your house?
Yes, we talked about it briefly.
Yeah, we just caught up about that.
Let me, first of all, let me catch you up, Brad, on the reason that I'm selling my place and getting into what will undoubtedly be double the mortgage that I'm currently paying.
Okay.
About a year ago, actually almost 2 years ago now, my next door neighbor, so I'm in a townhouse. On this side of me, these people are noisy, but they're fine. They have a 9-year-old. I hear her whenever she runs up and down the stairs, but it's fine. On this side of me, a couple moved in right at the start of the 2020 shutdown. And a few months later, she threw him out because I guess it was a year later. She threw him out because he cheated on her and then he tried to put his hands on her and he got his feelings hurt and came by and shot up the neighborhood, including the cars that were parked across the street because one of them might belong to a man that might be in the house with her.
Holy shit, I didn't realize you lived in Antioch. Holy cow.
I mean, I live in Antioch, but I don't live in that part of Antioch. Well, I do now.
Oh, you do live in Antioch?
I do live in Antioch, yeah.
But a little close to the vest. I hit a little true on that one.
Antioch is not what everybody says it is, except for this fucker. And I already didn't like him. Like, he's so completely disrespectful of everybody around him. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, he had a car parked in the middle of the across the street from my house. Like, it was just parked in the middle.
Oh, he might be good to do this show. How come we didn't ask him to guest on the show? He sounds like the perfect asshole.
Because when you insult him, he'll shoot you.
Yeah, there's two things that you really don't have to explain any further. One is townhouse. When you said townhouse, you need to explain no further why you're moving. And then number two is a man randomly sprays bullets in your neighborhood. But either one of those two, legitimate reasons to buy something else.
Right. But the bullets happened in 2021. It was during the ACM Awards, as a matter of fact, because that's what I was watching when I jumped completely out of my chair. Like, what the hell was that? Anyway, he eventually went to jail once they caught him. And then when he got out, this bitch took him back. Now,
Jesus.
I know that there is stuff that happens that makes women take back assholes. But
how do you know that? How are you so sure of this, Jess?
I've read stories on the internet.
Look, there's a pause to be remembered
about my ex-husband. Anyway, so I try real hard not to judge her for that, except then one day another neighbor said to me, you know, she's got an assault charge. That's why she can't work right now, right? So I Google the assault charge and find an article where the event that she was involved in was called a brutal beating. And I was like, you know what? I gotta.
Wow.
I'm out. I'm gonna go.
No, wait. Did she beat him? Because I could kind of like be on board with that.
No. She held down a woman while the woman's ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend beat the shit out of her.
Okay, yeah, I'm not down with that.
Yeah.
Now, if she beat the hell out of her boyfriend, who's a piece of trash and shooting guns,
I would cheer her on.
You know,
yeah,
she's doing the Lord's work there. I would have been all right with that.
Yeah,
doing the Lord's work.
She absolutely is.
Oh Jesus! Please hold him down, Jesus.
Jesus, let me just get one or two good hits in, Lord.
Jesus, hold the wheel while I beat the fuck out of this guy.
So my house has been on the market for 3 weeks, and Wally, it's been forever since we talked. But in that time, I found a house that I really like. And so this past Friday, I went to look at it a second time because I wanted to get some information about like the age of the water heater and HVAC and, you know, all of that stuff and just kind of take another look and make sure I still love it as much as I think I do. And while we were standing in this house, as I'm looking around going, my office will be right here. The finished basement will be where I put my home gym, like making all of these plans. My realtor says, I got to take this call. I'll be right back. And when she comes back in, she says, that was the agent for an investor, and they're going to be sending me a cash offer for your place.
Damn.
Whoa.
Right. So, and it wasn't even an offer I was offended by. I actually was like, well, I mean, can we counter just for the hell of it? And she said, yeah. So she countered by a little bit, and hopefully by tomorrow we will have that offer in hand.
Good for you.
I know.
An investor.
Yeah. He's going to
When
use
you
it.
said that you were buying a house, I immediately thought, did you miss the famous curve that was going on? But it doesn't sound like you have, because everything that I've heard as a non-home buyer or seller at the moment is how everything has cooled off and the interest rates have tamping down the hysteria. But I mean, a cash offer from an investor, that seems like it's pretty good.
Yeah, and the interest rates have fallen off a little bit. I mean, the good news for me as a buyer is that things are not flying off the market the second they hit the market. And so there's not bidding wars. You know, I don't have to offer above asking. Like, none of that is happening. This house that I found has been on the market for almost 2 months. So
basically what you're saying is it's normal again now.
Yes.
Like, it's not super inflated. It's not depressed.
Right.
It's how house buying has been for 20 years.
yes, exactly.
It's regular. It's regular.
So
It's taken its fiber. It's
when
no
we
more
come
regular.
out of the house, and again, this is the second time I've been there, and we're sort of standing in the driveway and we're looking around, and I'm just trying to see like what's happening with the neighbors. This house is on a cul-de-sac. It's a standalone house. I don't have to share a wall with anybody. And so we're looking around, and a woman comes out of the house next door, and she says, "Hi, you moving in?" And we said, "No, we're just looking."
Here's the casserole.
Yeah. No, we're just looking. And she's asking questions, and we're like just sort of talking back and forth. And she says, "It's a really quiet neighborhood." I said, "Good. That's what I'm looking for." And then I said something about my dogs, or putting up a fence before, because there's no fence. That's the one thing it's missing. And she said, "Oh, what kind of dogs do you have?" And I have to learn to start. Whoa, 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 whoa,
Whoa. Whoa.
whoa. Look who's here.
Guys, I feel like I died about an hour ago.
You sound like you died about an hour ago.
Your voice sounds so sexy.
It's my come fuck me with all this puke on me voice.
Wow.
What are you wearing, big fella?
Yeah.
Well, for you, it's a rappy.
Well,
And as soon as Jess finishes her story, I'll have something for you.
Okay, go ahead and finish the story.
Okay, let me just introduce you real quick, because we weren't sure you were going to show up, so I got a guest, Chris, but his name is Brad. Brad, Chris, Brad.
Hi,
I guess they can't call myself New Chris anymore, so sorry.
No, it's
I'll
like
be
on
Brad again.
when they went for New Brian, it just didn't work.
Yeah. So,
Like New
Darren.
Coke.
anyway,
You, Darren.
this woman asks me what kind of dogs I have, and I have got to learn to start saying mixed breed, because what I said was pit bulls. And she said, "Oh, do you see my arms?" And I couldn't really see what she was trying to show me, because there was a little bit of distance there. But then she explained how a pit bull ripped her arms off.
Off of her body?
Off of her
they were
body.
Detached?
And so what she was showing me were her prosthetic arms. Now,
This chick had fake arms?
she had fake arms. Because a pit bull.
Okay, this
Ripped
is
her
Brad
arms.
Austin's neighborhood rule number 41, and that is, I wouldn't buy that house just because of that lady, because I hate people. So the second that she came over and started yip-yapping like that, I would have been out, by the way.
Well, now
I'd
she
have been
did
like,
stay in
this
her
bitch is going to
own-
be at my house ringing the doorbell at all hours. She's going to be a chatty Cathy. I'd have been out.
She did
This
stay
sounds like
over
a bad
on her
episode
own
of
porch.
Family Ties.
And you know what?
Hold the phone here. Hold the phone here.
I have pit bulls.
Jess.
She won't be ringing my doorbell.
let me be you. Okay? And I want you to be the person that asks about the dogs. Go ahead.
Oh, role playing.
Oh, what kind of dogs do you have?
fuck you. That's what kind. That's the answer you need to give.
That's the answer I'm giving from now on, because I do not want to know about anybody's arms being ripped off by a pit bull, which she later says was her son's pit bull. He was 95 pounds. 20 minutes before this happened, he had licked her face, but he was injured at the time that the attack happened. She didn't explain how he got injured, but any dog will attack you if it's hurt and you come near it. Any dog will.
And I got even more bad news for you. Like Wally was saying earlier, like you're not getting a casserole from this chick because she can't make a casserole. She's got 2 fake arms. You ain't getting shit. No cookies, nothing. All you're getting is lip service from this chick over the fence you're going to have to build, and you're going to want to move. If she starts shooting guns, might as well not leave Antioch.
How's she going to shoot a gun?
Oh, man.
How's she going to shoot a gun?
I have seen people with no hands use their feet in surprising ways.
Wow.
Well, she could probably do more than just stir a pot with her bad arm.
Maybe she's just going to raise up her nubs and point them at you and go, pew, pew.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe she's bionic now.
Maybe they got those little clip-on attachments. I don't know. It's like a vacuum cleaner at the end of the stump there. You just clip on like a spoon or something when you cook it. I don't know.
That would be great.
That would be great.
She'd come out of the house with her big sword arm waving it at you. Get out of here with your dogs!
That's the self-defense attachment, the sword, the machete.
Oh, God. Oh, man. You can't even move to that neighborhood now.
And you know what?
Can't. She's going to hear this show and you're done.
It's still in Antioch.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's actually not,
Chris.
it's not far from this house. It is just out of drive-by range for the fucker next door.
Chris, since you crucified me last week with Gail.
Yeah, Gail.
I learned to do a little bit of stuff.
Wait till you hear this, Chris.
With what's her name? Alexa. With Alexa.
Gail, that's her name. Gail.
And I am going
This might answer your question. Using your voice, you can ask me to play any song or artist, set timers and reminders.
Shut up,
Control
Alexa.
smart home device.
She's mouthy all of a
Alexa,
sudden.
where is Chris?
Poor guy, he has the flu. He's got it coming out of both ends. His bathroom looks like hell and smells like shit.
You know, my bathroom does look like hell and smell like shit. It's the most amazing thing.
Wait a second.
Okay.
Wait a second. Alexa, who is Gail?
Gale is a global provider of research and digital learning
Say it
resources.
this time.
The company is based in Farmington
That's not
Hills,
what she said
Michigan,
earlier.
west of Detroit.
Shut up.
It has been a division of
Alexa,
Cengage
shut
since
up.
2000.
She was supposed to say, never mind. It's in the earlier part of the show.
Yeah, you're going to have to listen, Chris. 'cause
Never mind.
It's some funny shit. I'm super impressed
you're gonna
because
listen to the earlier part of the show.
Wally asked Alexa like 3 or 4 different questions and got some hilarious answers that he intentionally programmed by
Wow.
himself. I asked.
Yeah.
His grandkids didn't do it.
You know, that's kind of hot.
Yeah, you know what? They don't use Alexa at all. So we've had Alexa in the house for years. And the only time we've ever used her is to play Christmas music. That's the only time we use her.
Gail.
And you
Alexa, are you still there?
I'm here. I listen once I hear the wake word.
Shut up. Alexa, who is Gail?
She is a cunt.
That's it. That's all I have for you. I had other stuff. But
I appreciate that. Now, with that laughter, I've officially stooled. So that was.
That would be terrible.
Which
So
is new
What do you
how?
have? Do you have the flu?
It might be AIDS at this point. I'm not exactly sure.
wow, that
You
was
got Ebola?
But what's that? I had a double combination, and you're not going to believe what the double combination was.
Was it like the
Flu
Big
and
Mac
diarrhea.
Happy Meal?
RSV and salmonella. Put it all together, and you have what I had.
wow.
You had so what is RSV?
It's
The
that.
respiratory thing?
It's the respiratory thing that also gets into your shits. Basically, what we were joking about it, we were calling it the new COVID. So
How does something in your respiratory get into your shits? Like, how do those two things commingle?
Right.
Chris licks his ass a lot.
I actually, I am the poster boy for pink eye. And
Assplay will do that to you.
I just kind of sit there and say, okay, doctor, give me the medicine. So I got some anti-throw up, anti-diarrheal, and then vitamin C and copious amounts of some zinc bullshit. And, Alexa's a cunt.
Alexa is a cunt. And oh, Jesus. Wait, I got to shirt her off because.
Now what? Alexa, who's Gail?
No, I don't even think she's on right now. I thought I turned her off. Yeah, there. I'm turning her off. You guys cut it out. She's off.
It's just amazing how two fingers can do that to somebody virtual in addition to somebody in real life, isn't it?
Yeah, but so, and how did you get the food poisoning or whatever, that other thing?
The salmonella was from some bad chicken I traced it down to.
Chris and the CDC got together.
In between vomits.
He traced down the bad chicken.
I had to kind of
fucking Chick-fil-A.
No, I had to back time to the top of the hour news. I had to back time as to when I started feeling bad and what this food was and yada, yada, yada. And it went back to being a very famous national chain restaurant, better known for steaks from New Orleans.
Oh, I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Got the chicken from Ruth's Chris.
For Ed's birthday?
Oh.
For Ed's birthday. That's what it's traced back to.
Wow.
So you got salmonella from probably a $45 piece of chicken.
48.
Wow.
It probably sat out on the counter for 48 hours before you ate
Because
it.
nobody orders chicken at Ruth's Chris. It's a steakhouse.
Right.
Well, it's supposed to come out on a sizzling plate, and the plate was not sizzling. And, I should have looked up and said, okay, it's fine. It is what it is. So, but I didn't. And now I want to die.
That's the problem with ordering medium rare chicken.
That's it.
You can't do that.
And my father told me a long time ago, if I continued playing with my cock like that, this would happen. And you see now what's happened. A little cock play got me right.
I'm sorry you don't feel good.
Thank you. I hope to be better this week.
We hope you're better too.
Yeah. Oh, and listen how Jess said it. She said it really heartfelt too.
Did you believe I meant it?
There's a little thing in her voice.
Did you think I meant it?
You put that little. It looked like you. Yeah. I mean, your face said you didn't mean it, but your voice said you meant it. Yeah.
Oh, do you feel bad? Oh.
Just practicing for the future new neighbor. I can put up with her bullshit and sound sincere.
Hey, ma'am, have you met my pit bulls?
I'll give you my real true how I feel so bad. Isn't he cunning? He's just so cunning.
Bless his heart.
Now you know I mean it.
It reminds me of my mother.
God bless his soul.
How are you feeling? Really not well at all, Mom. Oh, well, fuck you.
Your mom too, huh?
He grew up tough.
Yeah.
My mother is an absolute Georgia fucking peach.
Brad, how's your mom?
Way better than this. I'll tell you that. Holy cats.
So Jess's mom is what? A little crazy.
A little.
Chris's mom is what? A little mean.
Oh,
she's like Gail. Yeah.
And my mom gave me away when I was 3 years old. So there you go.
Holy crap. I feel like I need to make something up about my mother. I can't.
Oh.
If you want to, you better goddamn do it right now.
I know. I have to come up with something really fast.
Oh, I've got stories that'll crush you, motherfucker. Don't even try.
I know. No, I grew up way too normal for that.
Yeah, no. There's no normal fuckers here. There just isn't. Mm-mm. And I'm feeling like Brad might be a little normal.
Why start today?
No, he just doesn't know you guys that well. But I'm telling you, Brad, you can't offend anybody on this call.
I did spend almost 30 years in radio, so that immediately negates any sense of normalcy.
Oh, no, so we know you're stupid. That's
right.
There you go.
I have no life skills at all. I'm a moron. But
you probably can read. You probably can read.
I can. And I can back time. I can read and I can back time.
So
Back time, you can read like 6-word sentences. That's
And
good.
unlike these newfangled kids, I can still splice tape.
same.
Oh, I can splice tape. Yeah.
And I couldn't splice tape when I was supposed to splice tape. I couldn't fucking do that.
I didn't say I was good at it. I can do it, though.
Oh, God, not me.
Something good. I was watching the news this morning. Something very. We have here in Maine. So I'm in Maine, Brad. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't. Okay.
I'm in Maine, and Chris is in Baltimore,
Well, Frederick, Montgomery,
Maryland.
whatever you want.
Sorry. The People's Republic of Maryland. I'm sorry either way.
That's exactly what the fuck it is, too.
And I don't
Yeah,
think we touched on Brad is here in Nashville as well.
I am.
Yeah.
Not in Antioch where Jess is.
No.
I'm actually south.
Yeah, Jess, don't confuse yourself with being in fucking Nashville, okay? You've thrown that out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just near Nashville. Shut
Yeah.
up.
My mailing
You're
address is
45
Nashville,
minutes out of
motherfuckers.
town.
Yeah, you're in Tennessee. That's what you need to start telling.
My mailing address is Nashville, motherfuckers.
Yeah, you know what?
Tell it how it is so we know what you're just a Tennessee girl.
Yeah,
That's different than a Nashville girl.
my mailing address is away from fucking nubby women who have had their arms ripped off.
Nubby women.
You're a townhouse living, pit bull having Tennessee girl.
Doesn't
Yeah.
that sound like a Charlie Pride record?
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nubby women
does.
make great lovers.
We have solved homelessness. We have solved homelessness here in Maine. I'm
How'd you-
watching the news this morning, and why the fucking news talks whenever they want to talk to somebody, they pick the dumbest, least tooth having motherfucker they can find
Because they're
put on
trying to
the
go
news.
viral.
This morning they're talking about homelessness and building a new homeless shelter in the city near me that is not Portland, and because they don't have a homeless shelter there. And the guy they talked to said, so what do you think about the homeless shelter, sir? Well, if you build a homeless shelter, it's just going to bring homeless people here. There are no homeless people until you put it in a homeless shelter.
Wow, is that how that works?
All you got to do is just burn down or take down a homeless shelter. The homeless people disappear.
Well, listen,
There are no more homeless people.
now that your city has tackled that, could y'all work on the price of eggs?
Yeah, we get a lot of eggs. We in my town, we have Land O'Lakes eggs in the town where I live.
Are they
have,
$6
big
a
egg
dozen
farm.
like they are here?
Oh yeah. Oh, sure they are.
I
Eggs
just
are out of control.
go out back.
But you know what I have? You know what I have in the backyard?
Chickens.
Chickens.
Well, I got chicken out there on the farm too, and it doesn't cost me $6. I just go out.
No, it cost you 2 weeks of sickness.
Well, 2 weeks of sickness, a little bit of salmonella, but you know what? I also have to put my hand up a fucking hen's cunt in order to get a fucking egg out.
You know what, man?
I really thought
I think you have to.
let those out on their own.
Huh?
I said I
think you
really
have to
thought they let
revisit
those
the
out on their
reproductive
own.
thing.
Oh, is that why they don't have anything in them?
Yeah, you don't have to reach up the chicken's ass.
Oh,
Yeah,
Unless you just want to do that for fun.
Yeah.
fuck me running.
I think he just does it for fun.
What else is there to do in Maryland? I mean, I can't
Either
even.
that must be a big chicken's ass. So you must have really small hands, dude.
Why can't it be both?
This is
What
that
is there? Ask Jess.
this is
You
that
gotta be
gas
feeling
tank
better right
conversation.
now. Look at-
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but look how we're helping him feel better. You think this is the same sort of the same sort of stuff that Damari Hamlin got when he went to the hospital? Hey, motherfucker! Glad you feel bad.
Hey, glad you feel better. Got your hand up a chicken's cunt?
You might have different kinds of friends than that poor guy.
Yeah.
The whole this is what they said. The whole world rallied around that guy. Chris can't get a hey, how you feeling from us. Sucks to be sick in this room.
Yeah, it does.
This is not the place to not feel good. Not the place at all. So listen, does your woman take care of you while you're
She
sick?
absolutely.
How is she taking care of you? Does she hold your hair back when you puke?
No, but
Lift your balls up when you take the diarrhea shit?
so the mother, was in the house, and
She's holding your balls.
she's upstairs, just curling them a little bit. But I'm throwing up, and it's one of those throw ups that's not just there. It's the and you're hitting at the same time. You're making this loud noise, and at the same time, tears are coming out of your eyes, and snot is running down your face. Okay, I'm fully expecting to look down at my toes and fingernails and see blood shooting out at this point. So after like the third, love, are you okay down there, love?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I mean,
Lord.
she got me applesauce and all that.
She gave you the brat diet?
Yes, got the bread.
Not the Brad diet. The brat diet.
I don't know what it tastes like, but I do know what the brat diet tastes like. And
Yeah. Brad, do you have kids?
Do I have kids? No.
No. Jess has no kids. Kids. Just wondering.
No.
Just trying to figure out who you are. Because
I do not have a legal deduction yet, so I'm good.
Oh, come on. I write off the fucking cats.
You should start writing off the chickens.
No
There's
shit.
something more going on there too.
Yeah.
Look, you know what? They lay eggs. At least chickens, they've given it up at least once. Okay? That's all.
It's true. It's true.
It's so good. It's so good. I hope that next week you'll be at full.
Hopefully by Wednesday I'll be fine. Hopefully.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but last Wednesday you thought you'd be fine by Saturday, and then.
But I had absolutely no voice. And then all of a sudden, I'm back in the fucking hospital on Thursday. It's like, Jesus Christ.
You were in the hospital?
I went to the ER, yeah, because, it was like the throwing up I was doing, Jess. This was like Damien-like shit, and my head was twisting all the way around. It was bad. It was bad, and I didn't know what the fuck it was. I'm like, okay, maybe I've got, maybe it's a diabetic thing, or maybe it's fucking scurvy. I don't know.
The scurvy. Got the rickets. You got the rickets, man.
God, how did you get polio from eating bad shit? Jesus Christ.
All that time you spent on the pirate ship last weekend, you picked up scurvy.
You got the scurvy, didn't eat enough limes.
And it's the weirdest thing, because every time I throw up, Brad, I just go, so
See, Steve starts talking like a pirate.
Got the scurvy. So listen, Jess, does Chris know you looked at a house?
I don't think so, because he wasn't.
Chris doesn't know. Yeah.
No, so you looked at a house.
Yeah.
And someone made an offer on hers.
Well, they haven't made the offer officially yet, but while I was taking a second look at a house I love, an agent for an investor who wants to use it as a rental property called and said they're sending over a cash offer.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that creepy fuck that pulled you to the other side of the street.
No, wasn't. As far as I know, it wasn't that guy.
Have you heard from that guy again?
I don't think so. We haven't gotten any offers. So my realtor did reach out to all of the people who said there might be interest, including the agent for that guy. And all of them said they were waiting for a price drop. And I was like, a price drop? You can offer whatever you want to pay. Do that.
Yeah. That's a cop out. Waiting for my fucking ball drop too, okay?
Yeah, that's when you go. That's exactly what you say when you go like on one of those what the fuck are those rentals called that you timeshare, so you can try to get the free TV.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask my wife about that. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to talk about it. That means just give me the fucking TV and let me get out of here and go play tennis.
Right.
That's because we have those timeshares here. Have you ever been on one of those timeshare tours?
Oh my God. So Julie and I this is 2000. When did she become a bitch? So it was 2000.
Well, what year was she born?
Something about 9/11 fucked her up, I think. But nonetheless, so we go down to Orlando. I was working for Marriott at the time, and I had, not free rooms, but discounted rooms. So it was like $35. We're staying in this beautiful vacation club suite, and we're going to go to Disney and all this sort of shit. And we're down there, and we realized, God, we're actually just poor people here in this city. And I'm like, what the fuck are we going to do? And she looks over there and says, look at that. I'm like, yeah, this timeshare thing. They're giving you a free Kmart gift certificate and dinner for two at this Italian restaurant. I said, let's go. So we went and we toured, and I'll never forget the place. It was called the Seagull, the Seagull Suites. Okay, I'm like, that's an odd name for a resort community. And we're in there, and we look around, and we got to the meeting room, and she looked at this guy and says, "We're only here for the free shit. If you want to not waste your time." But, well, there's so many opportunities. We don't want the fucking place, but there's so many. Give us the gift certificate, and that was it.
I'm with you.
Got our food.
I want the shrimp and the gift certificate. Yeah, but a Kmart, you had to know it couldn't have been that great of a suite if the gift certificate was Kmart.
Well, you got to realize we were two people that were champagne fucking taste, living on goddamn Mad Dog lifestyles. So Kmart was fine for us at that point.
See, now I wish I could do my Robin Leach voice. I can't remember how to do it.
I'm Robin Leach.
Caviar Dream.
Caviar Dream.
I can only
fuck you.
And Chris's salary.
I can do Dana Carvey's Robin Leach. I'm Robin Leach. I'm yelling. I don't know why.
That's pretty good.
Can have either of you gone? I've gone on. Jody and I used to go on those, and we'd go on them just to get that free weekend.
I never have,
because they're fucking pretty good. You go and you pay like $23 for 2 nights and 3 days at a place that usually is $300 a night. This is fantastic. Then you got to go on that hour and a half little tour. But usually, and then you get you get a gift certificate to Dunkin' Donuts. Around here, you can get a gift certificate to Dunkin' Donuts.
I mean,
and
every fucking
might win the one TV they have, but it's worth it. It's worth the getaway.
I've only been on the other side of that. I never sold timeshares, but I was involved in a couple of events, and at least they got a concert out of it, where they would trap these timeshare people at a concert venue and serve them a buffet dinner. There'd be like 300 or 400 people there. They'd bus them in, and then they'd have like a marquee act. Like in the country world, there'd be like Randy Houser would play, or Lauren Elena. Like they'd bring a pretty big country act, but these people were trapped there. And I never forget the last one of those that I saw, and I'll leave out the name of the timeshare and the name of the artist. But not a single person in that room had a fucking clue who the person was that was singing. And the amount of times that they looked down at their watch, like, it's time to go. The rubber chicken is gone. The shrimp is gone. I have to sit through this so I can get back on the bus and get my casino voucher, and we can get the fuck out of here. I was like, damn.
That's rough.
It was in Las Vegas.
That's nice.
That's
a casino voucher. Hello.
Yeah. It's better than a TV, I guess. But,
oh, hell yeah. It's better than
just
TV.
Looking at you have if you've ever been in those meetings like you guys have, you never really saw the perspective because you were part of it. But me not having to do at all with any of it, just there as an observer, watching it go down and reading the body language was worth the price of admission.
Oh, I fucking bet.
Sure.
It was incredible. There'd be like an old black couple. When I say that, I mean they're like in their 80s. And then there'd be like this young hillbilly couple where maybe he's got a little bit of money, but she's missing teeth. And none of them had any clue who the person was on stage. And they were all trapped with empty plates stacked up in front of them, just dying to get out of that room. And it was fantastic to watch their misery.
And none of them have the $600 a month you have to pay to have that timeshare to go stay there for 3 weeks out of the year.
But how great was it for the artist to know that people couldn't leave until they were good and ready to be done?
The artist didn't care. The artist was getting paid a ridiculous amount of money.
Really?
You know how they say that when people in concerts, the highest paying gigs are fairs and festivals because they have the most money.
Yeah.
So you always make them pay double. This was at least double or triple for an hour-long semi-acoustic set in Las Vegas.
That's cool.
It's like being a comedian at a corporate event.
I mean, literally, it could have been a room full of nobody. Like, it could have been an empty room, and I'd have skipped out there and played for 60 minutes for what they were paying.
I'd lip sync to something, bring out a karaoke machine and do your thing.
Milli Vanilli, let's go.
Brad. Oh, it's Brad.
Yeah, I'd have taken my fucking shirt off. I'd have done a jig. It doesn't matter.
Listen, if I was at that show, I wouldn't be looking at my watch. I'd be screaming, "Yeah, Brad! Go, Brad!"
Exactly.
Take your shirt off, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right until the shirt comes off, and then you'd throw up the rubber chicken that you just ate, and you'd be trying to find your bus
If
parked
you
out
don't
front.
have hairy nipples, my friend, Chris and I are okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is mostly true. I was having a conversation with one of my friends about that the other day because he was banging her twin sister, who also apparently had the hairy nips. And we're discussing this at the bowling alley the other night. And he's like, "You remember that?" Of course I fucking remember that. What were we doing? We were horny, Michael. That's what we were doing.
We're suckling and flossing.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, my wife was talking about the hairy nipple show as well.
A friend of mine, after listening to that show, texted me 2 words: nipple, hair. That's all she said.
Chris and I and Jess, we established that I have no nipple hair. Jess has no nipple hair. Chris has no nipple hair, but we've all been exposed to nipple hair. And
I believe I'm nipple hairless.
Yeah, I'm nipple hairless.
It's around, but it's not on.
I've started to get late in life. I've started to get a few hairs down my breastplate, down the center between my breast.
On your bosom?
Yeah, no, not on my bosom, but in that space, the sternum area. I've started to grow the random
in your cleavage.
In my cleavage, I've started to grow.
Oh.
Now, I've not always had cleavage, but I'm starting to get some
I'm a
pretty
solid B
substantial-
cup, at least.
Oh yeah, I'm starting to get some cleavage there now, and I don't necessarily dislike it. It's okay. I don't mind touching them and squeezing them a little bit. It's all right for me. I
feel like
part of pleasuring myself.
If men had boobs from the beginning, y'all would never leave the house.
100% correct.
So I'm not a boob guy, and my wife
Except your wife's right.
She's
boob.
got big boobs.
Mm-hmm.
My wife has some big boobs, and no, I'm not a boob guy. What my wife has that's better than big boobs is she has fucking great legs. Her legs are fucking awesome. She has I'm a leg guy. I like a good calf. Something you can wrap around my head and really squeeze. Really put a squeeze on you,
Crack my head like a walnut.
Give me the figure 4 leg lock, when I'm doing my thing. Yeah, absolutely.
How does your wife feel, though, about you talking about her boobs and her legs all the time and her clothing choices?
No, she's okay.
Okay.
She knows me. She knows me well enough now.
Well, I would hope so, because you've been married for a minute, but you're just putting her titty all out there, and knowing full well that her coworkers are listening too. So I'm just curious how she felt about that.
I think she's okay with it. She hasn't told me to shut up yet.
Okay. All right.
She hasn't hit me.
Let's talk about titties for a sec.
Okay.
Okay, I'm all right with that.
No, I'm driving today. First time I've driven in a little bit. I'm driving under horrific fucking traffic, and we're detoured through a neighborhood as I'm trying to get back from one place to the other. And this woman behind me gets out of her car and starts jumping up and down in place. And she's got these gargantuan melons. And they're just so...
Can we still say melons?
One's going east, one's going west. They're going everywhere. And, look, my attention is piqued. This is a subject that... So I look back, and the woman looks at me and screams, "Women are not to be objectified," and got in her car and fucking slammed the door. I'm like, what in the fuck just happened?
Maybe she read your mind or something.
I don't know. I'm just...
That didn't happen.
Jess, if I can make up this shit, I would absolutely do it, but I can't.
I think you could.
So she just randomly busted off some jumping jacks, stuck in traffic, unrestrained, clearly no brassiere.
Uh-huh.
Brazil.
They were like those googly eyes, on a stuffed animal that they go different directions.
That's exactly right. It was heads Carolina, tails California.
And then, how dare you be the one looking?
And how dare you look at me in your rear view mirror?
Maybe she's a fan of the podcast.
How can you not look at that though? How can you not? When fucking people act goofy or are wearing goofy or showing their shit, how can you not look at it? And how can they get offended when you say, "What are you looking at? Your tits are hanging out. I'm looking at them." I mean, what are you gonna do? If you're walking around with your nutsack hanging out, people are going to be looking at your nutsack. The difference is, though, if you're a guy and your nutsack's hanging out and people look at it, you go, "Yeah, you like my nutsack, right?" If you're a girl,
you're not going to be allowed in a school zone if you're that guy. Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They will let a topless woman go near a school anytime they want, but a guy with his nuts hanging out never gets near a school. That's the difference.
You can't do that. Come on.
That's double standard in fucking life.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry y'all are struggling with your oppression.
It's terrible.
Really is.
Poor you.
Yes.
I'm waiting for the He Too movement to kick off. Let's go.
Yes, you need to move to the Northeast.
So sad.
You need to move to New York, girl.
Why? I came from there. I've seen it. Don't need to see it again.
You need to move to liberal New York.
Yeah. I think you can finally vote up there, Jess.
Wally, I grew up in the most liberal town in the state of New York. Yeah.
You absolutely did.
Yeah. So
you absolutely did.
For somebody who doesn't know, what is the most liberal town in the state of New York?
Ithaca.
Oh, okay. University town. Yeah.
Grew up
no, it's not just university. It's, you know what? It was before anybody knew the word gay or knew about veganism.
Oh, we had it.
Or knew about any of that shit.
Birkenstocks, I'm pretty sure we invented those.
Ithaca was there.
Tie-dye.
30 years before it even happened.
Yep.
By the way,
it's like the Berkeley of the Northeast.
I've always called it Little Berkeley. Yes.
It's more Berkeley than Berkeley.
It is the tree-hugging capital of the world.
And if you ever do want some of the best vegan soup on the planet, the moosewood.
The moosewood.
Oh,
I have a moosewood cookbook. I'm not vegan. I don't even know how I got the thing, but I have it.
It's such good food.
That woman in the car behind me actually came from If Fuck You, Don't Look at My Tits. So,
what a coincidence.
So funny.
I was going to say, it would take all three of you to knock me out and drag me to Ithaca to get me to go to such a place.
I understood. And
you can keep Ithaca or fuck you.
Thankfully, there's pizza as well. And it's probably the best pizza you've ever had outside of New York City.
And I will tell you this. They had one of the raunchiest bookstores I've ever been in. There was a downtown bookstore.
Did they have the little holes in the wall?
Oh, they had all kinds of shit in that bookstore. There was a raunchy bookstore in downtown Ithaca. I can't remember the name of it. Jess, was 30 years ago, right?
So but before I was born.
They had a dirty what we would have called back then is a dirty bookstore. It was dirty.
Back when you had to go and rent your pornography on Betamax.
Yeah.
Right. It was a bookstore where you could go buy a book and a strap-on dildo and maybe go in a little booth if you wanted to, I think.
We used to call that the video stand.
You got it. It was one of those kind of places. I don't know if they had the video stand. I had only been in the place once just to check it out, of course.
Of course.
Curiosity.
That's right.
Research. Market research. Yeah.
It was market research. So because I anticipated 35 years later, I might need to talk about it on a podcast.
Right.
So look how smart you turned out to be. Look at how smart that decision
was. Nobody knew. Let me ask, go inside baseball for a second. That radio station that just flipped to Christian up in New York, in Ithaca, was that yours? Ones that you were on?
Oh, I don't know what station.
I don't know. What station was it? Do you know the calls?
It was called 94 Rock or something like that.
No, not us.
No, we were 99.9.
Okay.
No. Were we
100.1? Yeah. We were 99.9 and 100.1 or something.
Here's how I remember it, other than the fact that I also worked at 99.9 in Frederick, Maryland. The imaging, before I worked there, and before I think Wally worked there, it was called Power 99. And the imaging was always Power 99.9.
You got it right.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to the worst fucking name. When I got there.
Yes, FM.
Yes, FM. What a fucking horrible.
That's what it was when I was there.
Yes.
I listened
later-
listen, before it was Power 99.9 and Yes FM, it was OK 100.
There was an OK 100 here in DC as well.
And the last iteration of it that I remember was I-100.
I 100, yep.
Went from Yes
When
FM
do
to
you
I-100.
think? When do you all collectively think the last original idea was ever introduced to name a radio station?
1970.
I'm guessing 93 before deregulation.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably 90, 95, 96, in there, somewhere in the mid-90s.
They're still trying, though. I mean, when was Jack invented?
Well, it would have been in the late 90s, probably early
Yeah.
2000s.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that's come out.
That might be the last real original thing that anybody's ever done in radio when it comes to
What was the girl radio that came on for a while?
Jill.
What was that? Alice?
There was
Oh,
Alice.
Alice was
Oh,
like
there was Alice,
alternative
yeah, yeah.
pop. Yeah.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
Alice.
Pop
That was there
alternative.
for a while. I saw today online somebody had put on a commercial. Somebody had written a commercial for advertise on radio because radio's this. The whole
Radio gets
advertisement-
results.
Well, yeah, but the whole advertisement was written by an AI.
Oh.
No person involved.
And I bet the script was still better than what a lot of our sales reps wrote for us.
It was still shitty.
Oh my God.
It was
conveniently located at the
Right.
corner of
For all
was
your
still-
whatever you're buying needs.
Yeah.
our friendly and knowledgeable staff.
It was as shitty radio advertising is. Yeah, absolutely.
Does anybody wonder why nobody listens to that bullshit anymore? I mean, honest to God, as somebody who's been out of it now for 3 years,
When I was working,
I listen to it and I go, was I really part of this spread of pap smear that was radio
Yeah.
broadcasting? It is so stale and horrible.
Yeah.
so I once won an award way back when
It's a major award.
for a commercial I wrote
It's
that
Italian.
you could never write today. This commercial, it was a local award. It wasn't anything, nothing
Was it
big.
a major award?
It wasn't. It was just a local. When I was working in Roanoke, Virginia, I wrote a commercial for a copy place, and faxes had just become in the vogue back then. They had a fax had really just started to evolve. It was like 1989, 1988, something. Faxes were just starting to really grab hold, and I wrote copy for a prospective client, and then it ended up airing. And it might have been A.B. Dick or somebody, if you remember that company that used to do copying and those kinds of things. Anyways, you could never write this commercial today. My premise of my commercial was there were Siamese twins that were attached and that you could fax them. You really couldn't fax them, but one side looked just like the other side as you transmitted. It was a campaign I did. You could never, ever, ever fucking do that commercial today, but it was funny as fuck. And the commercials always ended with something like the only line I really remember was one of them saying, and I used just pitch control for the two different characters on a reel-to-reel, splicing and pitch control. And one character said, one of the brothers said, "Oh, geez, your feet smell." And the other character says, "Oh, those aren't my feet." Something stupid like that. But this fucking commercial won an award. If I put that commercial, if I was working in radio now and writing a commercial like that, I'd be fucking hung.
Yeah.
Hung.
Here's the irony to your point, just taking it 20 years down the road. Here's the irony to me. As we sit here and do this, we're not playing any music. We're not playing any commercials. We're not stopping for traffic and weather together on the Thames. And every single major broadcast company on the planet, and the independent ones too, the number one thing they're telling everyone to do is talk less.
Yeah.
Yet podcasting is nothing but people talking and telling stories. And it is the most listened to on-demand medium in the world. And radio has gone, well, we just play more music, we'll be fine. And I don't think they've grasped the concept of entertainment anymore.
No.
There's things called Live by Live, Spotify, Apple Music. They can get their music without your bullshit. They want to be entertained if they're going to be stuck in the car for an hour.
Right.
When Jess and I were doing mornings together, and this is not a fucking lie, if we played 4 songs in an hour, we were playing a lot of songs.
Yeah.
And I bet you your ratings were fantastic.
We
fucking crushed.
We crushed.
Everybody said Howard Stern would never make it in New York City radio after he left Detroit because he wouldn't play any music. And they thought that they'd kick his ass just because of the fact that he was the guy that wouldn't play any music.
The same is true now as was true then. You can get the fucking music anywhere. Back then, you got the music on a cassette or a CD or whatever. But you fucking could get the now you get it on, you download it or you stream it, but you still have access to all of it all the time.
Yeah,
but you don't have access.
It's even easier. You could carry it in your pocket. You couldn't carry the record player with you in your pocket until the Walkman came along.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, now you literally can be anywhere on the planet and ask if you got Amazon Music. You can ask your Alexa to literally play any song that's ever been made in the history of music. Why would people turn the radio on for that?
But what you don't have access to is Chris with some fucking, ass story, or me with a dumb ball story, or Jess with a hairy nipple story, or Brad with a fucking Jess had the amputee story, or Brad with any of this.
You don't get that, no.
This you don't get on radio, or you don't get it anywhere unless you listen to a podcast. The music
is so sanitized
everywhere.
And it's interesting.
The thing about podcasts that are awesome is that it's such a variety. There are down the middle, safe and easy PBS style podcasts that are educational. Then there are ones that literally you can't play with another person within 10 miles of you because they're so raunchy, and everything in between.
Right.
Yep.
But you get to pick your entertainment, and nobody goes to a podcast expecting to hear traffic and weather on the 10s or a no-talk triple play of music. They go to be entertained and to mentally be stimulated.
Yep. And they can also be targeted.
And it's
retargeted.
It's interesting that you brought that up, Brad, because when we put out our first episode, we all sent it to a bunch of people that we know. And these guys sent it to radio friends. And several of them said, it's too long. I couldn't listen to it all in one sitting. Okay, first of all, motherfuckers, find me a podcast that's not an hour per episode at least. Right. They're few and far between. Secondly, it doesn't matter if you can listen to it all in one setting because you don't have to stop it. And when you come back, it will be like, oh, here's where you left off and start right there.
The beauty of on-demand audio.
Yeah.
I always said that if radio could ever have a feature that would allow people to fast forward the crappy songs and skip the talking and skip the things they don't want to hear and pause it when they get out of their car, it would have a fighting chance. Time-shifted radio,
and that's what we've got.
The only thing that'll save that medium.
That's where I work.
Yeah, it's the old paradigm, to use a bad word, that was overused a long time ago. But the radio paradigm is fucking broken.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. People want to be fucking entertained. There's enough of this. There's just too much. The access is too easy. No. Radio used to be able to break music, right? They used to bring you something you never heard. Like I was in the grocery store the other day, and I was in the grocery store.
They play my jams at the grocery store too.
And Ace of Base came on. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if Jess knows this, but the first station in this country to play Ace of Base was my station.
The one that we worked at. Yeah.
The one we worked at. Because of Ithaca College and Cornell University, there was a ton of students from other countries. And we used to put it, whenever break came, we used to run a thing on the radio, and I'd do it in the morning show. And we'd say, listen, when you go home, if there's some new music that you know about, that you hear, bring it back to us. We'll play it. Yeah. So this one student from Germany brought back this band called Ace of Base. We played it. It was fucking huge on our station. We got a cease and desist from Arista Records because they haven't signed them yet in the U.S. It was fucking a hallmark. Radio can't do that shit anymore. Radio is not the music is not interesting anymore.
No, because they're programming out of fear.
You got it.
And also, over the last 20 years, think about the demographics of radio. You don't have an 18-year-old listening to radio anymore. You don't even have a 28-year-old. So you have to be familiar to somebody who's 50 years old.
Yeah.
And new stuff rarely appeals to somebody who is 50 or 60 years old. That's the bulk of who's listening. 45 to 64 is keeping radio alive.
Yeah. Yep.
It's why the grocery store now plays fucking the Eagles.
Oh my God. By the way, Wally, you're in Maine, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of this guy on YouTube who I absolutely love? And I had to look just a second ago to make sure I was right. He's in like Vermont, Maine, and New Hampshire. He goes around the whole area unclogging culvert pipes. Have you heard of this guy?
No.
I swear to God, he's the greatest, most valuable American treasure that we have. His name is Post 10, Post 10. Wow. And this guy is, I think, a little touched, maybe on the spectrum slightly or something. But this guy literally goes around and bitches about how all of the city and the town governments in your region don't unclog drains and streets flood and roads get washed out. And he literally, for free with his rake, goes around and does nothing besides clear out drains and culverts in the greater New England area. He is a national treasure that you all need to know more about up there in Maine.
Yeah, you do.
So,
because how's your basement, by the way, Wally?
700,000 followers on YouTube, by the way.
Wow.
See,
I've wasted hours of my life. This guy just slept in a culvert the other night for fun.
What are the videos? Are they videos of him clearing out the culverts?
Yes, it's fantastic. And you'll go, I would watch that for about 30 seconds. Then 3 hours later, you realize you've gone down the Post 10 rabbit hole and you've watched him unclog streets in the middle of flooding rains. And he's like, today I'm in Maine. And then he went to the Canadian border. Today I'm in New Hampshire. Today I'm in this river in Vermont is flooding and I have to clear the culvert. And he literally drives around clearing culverts and fighting the beavers who build the beaver dams that block up these culverts. The guy is a national treasure. You must check him out if you're in that region.
I'm going to check this. I am going to check him out.
He's my new favorite, follow on YouTube. The guy is fantastic.
Post 10.
Post 10. I'm telling you.
Post Malone. Here comes Post 10 in his rake. So he just goes
this guy literally. Yeah, if you go back, you have to go way back now because he's got hundreds and hundreds of videos. But if you go back to his first videos, literally it's him pulling his car to the side of the road when he sees a flooded street, right? He gets out with his metal garden rake and goes and unclogs the sewer, drains the street like a goddamn superhero of the common man, and then pulls off to the next flooded street and does it again.
Superhero of the common man.
I'm telling you, this guy is a national treasure with one
Sounds
metal
like a
rake.
John Conley song. He's the superhero of the common man.
He sounds like a storm chaser, but not the kind we normally hear about.
No, this guy he's the most unassuming, no frills, literally will climb into freezing cold water, break through the ice to dig out a beaver clog on a culvert to drain a lake because it's been washing out a road.
And do people pay him? Does he get paid? I know he does. He doesn't.
No.
He's not looking to get paid, but people must give him something.
They don't. He's been the police have stopped and asked him what the hell he's doing. And he's like, I just do this for fun. No, the guy bitches about the cities and the towns and how they don't keep up on their storm drains and their culverts.
Oh, he's right.
He is a national icon that you guys have in the Northeast that you must know about.
He's right. We had some. I had some flooding recently, not because of a storm drain, but because I had a backup in our floor and in our floor drain in our basement and just flooded our 6 inches of water in our finished basement.
Should have called Post 10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I should have called Post 10. Post, come take a look at my floor drain. What the fuck's going on, dude?
The man is a hero. He is the damn common man, Superman.
We've all had some shit weather since the last time we talked.
Yeah. We've had it's so fucking weird too. So I live on a river. I live on I'm 100 feet from here is the river, and it is not frozen. This is Maine, and this is January, and normally we've got a bunch of snow, and the river's frozen, and we're making all kinds of money in this community and surrounding communities from people who come from New York and New Jersey and Massachusetts and Connecticut to ride their snowmobiles. They bring their snow machines up, and they spend buku cash at gas stations and little restaurants and bed and breakfast and people rent out their houses. We have none of that because this fucking weather we had flooding, rain flooding because we had 16 inches of snow in one storm. And then 3 days later, it was 54 degrees and it rained for 10 hours, hence the flooding at my house. And now we have no snow. Nothing.
The Friday before Christmas, Wally, it was high. Well, when I woke up that morning, it was 0 and the wind chill was 20 below. And it stayed that way for a couple of days. And then the following Friday, it was 75.
Yeah, it was fucked.
I left Tennessee, like Jess was saying, it was ice cold. Flew to Wisconsin, where I'm from.
Was warmer.
And it was 20 degrees warmer in Wisconsin. I saw my family. Then I flew to Maryland, where my wife's family is from, and it was 10 degrees warmer than Nashville was. And I'm like, what's wrong with this equation where Nashville is 20 degrees colder than Wisconsin?
We had more snow than my
December.
friends in northeastern Pennsylvania were seeing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, it was only a couple inches of snow, but still, it was snow.
Is Chris still there?
I don't know. He hasn't piped up in a while.
I'm here. I'm just enjoying the show.
Oh.
He's wiping. He's wiping. Right
He's
now.
wiping.
busy.
He probably is. He probably is. We
With
had...
a moist towelette at this point. It's got to be moist.
Brad, were you here for the 2 days of rolling blackouts?
No, I was in Maryland at that time. And thank God, I didn't even think when I left Tennessee to keep the pipes at a slow drip or any of that shit that we would have done up north. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, that's going to get just below freezing. No big deal. I left that furnace set at 55 and I got very, very lucky. But I didn't realize until I was 17 hours away that they were rolling blackouts.
Yeah.
I've never had to do anything like that. I do remember growing up as a kid having to turn the faucet onto a slow drip and shit like that.
But
in
Wally-
modern housing, you don't have to do that.
No, because in the South, we talked about this. In the South, the water heaters are outside and a lot of the pipes
Yeah, mine's in my
coming
garage.
Yeah, mine's in a shed outside. So there was the first winter that I was here when I didn't know to do all of that. I did have a pipe freeze and then it burst because I also didn't know what to do when that happens. So now I know all of those things. And this time I got off lucky. I didn't even just keep it at a drip. I kept the hot water trickling for 3 days until the temperature was warm enough that I didn't have to worry about it anymore.
They don't understand the whole building code thing in the South yet. I'll give you a story. The ice storm that we had 2 years ago, it also hit Tennessee, but it hit Texas. My cousin just built a beautiful house, and building code in Texas, it's Texas. You could do the same thing you could do in Tennessee. Your water heater can be outside, whatever. He had one of those on-demand units, for heat, for hot water, the tankless system. They mounted it on the outside of his house, outside of his bathroom. It froze and destroyed. I'm like, okay, common sense. At some point, if this is a 15-year model, like this model will last for 15 years before you have to. At some point in 15 years, it's going to get below 32 degrees outside of that house.
And it does in Tennessee and Texas at least once a winter. At least once.
But they're still doing that. They're still building houses like that.
Yeah.
Wally and Chris would be like, are you kidding me? You're building my house and you're putting my tankless hot water heater on the outside of the house?
Yeah,
Not going to happen.
No.
Here.
Everything in our house is inside. The only thing that's not inside is we have a 400-foot well. So the only thing that's not inside is a deep well pump, but it's 400 feet down. So it doesn't matter because it doesn't freeze 400 feet down.
City water, or are you on the shitter?
Oh, we're on the shitter.
Yeah, well, we're on the shitter here too in this neighborhood, and it's only 3 houses in a row are model houses. The one that I'm living in was a model house, and they had them all on the shitter, and the rest of the neighborhood's on public sewer. So you can imagine my shock and surprise when I moved into this house in 2014, went downstairs, like, what is that weird smell? I can't place that smell. What is that smell? I just like, sure.
Shitter's full.
I walked in the laundry room and I'm like, that smell is getting, oh my Lord, there's shit water on the ground. Yeah, that's it. I can't believe they still have that in the quote city.
We got to have the dude will come this spring and empty our tank. We have like I think it's a 2,000 gallon septic tank, but it leaches out.
Do you have to put the things down there? I put this like bag of shit in the toilet, and
yeah. All that is, that's a yeast. It's just yeast. It eats toilet paper and stuff like that. It's a special yeast mix. What do you use, like Rid-X?
I don't know what it's called. It's called Home Depot charged me $3 a bag. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Well, that's cheap.
But really?
It's sawdust he's been pouring down there. He just doesn't know the difference.
Probably. and the thing with this bag, they've gotten all fancy and shit that you don't even have to open the bag now. You just put the bag in.
It dissolves. Yeah, it's like a little pod. Next thing you know, some fucking kid will be eating it, and they won't be able to do that anymore.
How lazy have we gotten that you can't rip open the bag to pour the stuff into the toilet anymore? You just got to throw the whole bag in.
Because
Brad's ceiling fans have remote controls now.
I can't be bothered to tear this bag open. This is too much for me.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, same. I will tell you one of the things I do put in a dissolvable paper now, and I just put one in our toilet, is the blue things, the color things that clean the toilet.
Yeah.
Like a tidy bowl
10,000 flushes or whatever.
Yeah. I got some cheap kind at our favorite place, Walmart. And there's 4 cubes in here. And you don't have to, you just open it up. You don't have to take it out of the thing. Your fingers don't get blue. You just drop it in. The paper dissolves. Life is good. Now, that's a good use of dissolving paper. I don't get the blue finger. I don't look like I've been fingering Smurfette. You know?
So now we'll never know.
Smurfette again.
You do kind of have the Papa Smurf hair look going on there.
I do, right?
Yeah.
I need a haircut. So normally my hair is really just shaved, not shaved, but more like not more like Chris's. He's got a patch with no hair.
Yeah, no shit.
I think that leads to Chris's sunny disposition overall, is the lack of hair in some spots.
Disposition came from ex-wife number 1 and ex-wife number 2.
Hey, so Chris, your shitting episodes?
Yes.
This last week, have they been the burn my asshole shitting episodes, or just complete flood?
Why are we asking this question right now?
Well, because America deserves an answer. That's
Jesus
why.
Christ.
But you wonder if you have Red Ring right now.
It basically, burn.
The burning ring of fire. Yeah, it's not good.
Well, and it's not good, too, because up at the farmhouse, I mean, these people are using toilet paper that I think we used in elementary school to fucking do projects with. So
it's brown paper.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so
some butcher block paper.
I'm only afraid to take a dump. I get afraid to shit when you fart and it burns. Have you ever had the fart that burns your ass? Jess, don't even pretend you never had a fart that make you, ooh, that's kind of a warm fart. You never
had a warm one. I've never had one that burns.
Not one that burns. What the hell are you eating?
The hair off you, but
Wally, you never get to criticize my food choices again if you're having farts that burn your asshole.
Look, I have burned farts more than a fucking McChicken sandwich. Okay. But I think the best part was when this was all beginning. Actually, I guess it was when last Wednesday evening, we're under the covers, and poor Jenna, I'm just looking at her sweet little head there, and absolutely no noise. But Wally, this was a good 12-second fart. It made absolutely no noise, and I just rubbed her on the back of the head, and I said, "I'm sorry." And she said, "What are you talking about?" I'm like,
Wait for it.
Yeah. Or word let come out. She's like, "God damn it, you motherfucker! What the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking fuck?"
I have those farts too. There are 3 sort of basic kind of, maybe there's 4 basic kind of, but there's the fart that you can let go. And I've done this with my wife countless times. What Chris has done, you've let it come out, and there's a heat to it, but there's no sound. You're like, "Oh, that's going to be bad. That is going to be some kind of bad." And I do the same thing. And I start to rub my wife's back and say, "I love you," And I start laughing a little bit, and she knows it's coming, because you can't help it, because this is going to be fucking horrible. A horrible fart. Here's the worst fart. The worst fart. Jess, we are 3 boys on here.
I know, and I was just thinking how I really need to get on a podcast with some girls instead.
The worst fart is the fart you let go in a store that follows you. You can't shake it. You got to spank yourself to expel the fart out of your jeans.
I have had those. I was on, last week, the one day I was feeling a little bit better, we were out and I was passing by some people in the restaurant. They're sitting at their table, and this was what I'd refer to as a medically necessary walk fart.
Medically necessary.
And I just stood there, and Jenna's like, "What?" And I said, hang on. And the women at the table behind me, they're eating some Chinese shit. And the one looks at the other and says, "What are you eating? It smells so good."
Oh.
And I just looked back and just went, bon appetit, and
The old egg foo young fart. Nice.
Haven't you ever had a fart just follow you around? You're like, fuck, this thing won't leave me. I thought I was leaving it in fucking housewares. I know we're in fucking tomatoes now, and the fart is still here. It's still hanging on me. And you have to spank your ass and get the air out of your fucking jeans.
Please don't smack your farts out of your ass next to the tomatoes. Thank you.
One thing that has started happening to me as I've gotten older, now that I'm in my mid-40s, never happened when I was 28, is the walking farts.
That's what I get. Oh, yeah.
And I'll be walking through a store, and I'll just tell my wife, I'm like, "You got to walk ahead of me." And she's like, "Oh, Jesus." And it's just like, and I can't stop it. Like, short of stopping and clenching in the middle of the aisle, there's nothing that my body can do to prevent that from happening.
No, I'm with you. I have the walking farts too. And when it happens, I just tell my wife the same thing. You may want to walk in a different aisle or get ahead of me. Mm-hmm. Because this isn't going to be good for anybody.
But it's a middle-aged problem. I wasn't doing that when I was 26. It wasn't happening.
Neither was I.
Well, I wasn't sharding when I was 26 either.
Well, mid 40s, the walk fart started happening, and we're inside a CVS the other day, and the walk fart happened. And listen, I'm going to be comfortable. I'm not going to be wearing jeans. I'm in my sweatpants at this point. And walking down the aisle, and I looked at her and I said, "This is going to be bad." She's like, "What?" And I let out this, and
he's Buddy Rich, boom, boom,
basically,
John Philip Sousa going down the medicine aisle,
somewhere between Buddy Rich and Lionel Hampton. There was a harshness yet a subtlety at the same time. And listen, I'm the guy who's going to go, "Jesus Christ, Jenna," when I let that out.
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too. I will throw that on somebody as quick as possible, or I'll do the fake, like, "God damn, somebody farted in this aisle. What the smell?" And it's
were you guys never 5? Because he who smelt it dealt it.
Well, we understand that, but you got to have creativity in life. Like, okay, I let one go at the bowling alley a couple weeks ago, and I put my hand right on Jenna's shoulder, and I looked at her in the eyes. Just got the beautiful eyes that I just can't say no to. And I looked at her and I said, "Baby doll, somebody has farted." And then I paused about 3 seconds and grabbed her cheek and said, "And that person was me."
Like she needed you to tell her that.
Yeah, I don't want to fart real loud, but I don't mind farting where people are exposed to it. And sometimes I take actual glee in exposing people to a particularly nasty fart. And the nastiest farts for me are fast food farts.
Oh, yeah.
I don't eat much fast food, but when I do, it just hammers me.
Well, and there's differences, Wally, between a McDonald's fart and an Arby's fart.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Brad, how you liking this?
Yes.
Aren't you glad you're spending your time this way?
I'm going to leave you with the fart and the smell of a fart and the sharing of a smelly fart. My grandfather, very wise man. I mean, he died in 1982, so I was 7 years old, but he farted one time. And we were out somewhere, and it smelled horrible. And he looks at me, and he said, "Son, why mine gold if you can't share it with the townspeople?"
My granddaughter. Now, girls usually aren't as enamored by farts as boys. My granddaughter is 9, and I have brought her up or have exposed her to the right side of life. She said to me yesterday as I'm watching football, and she's using the phone to play some game. I don't know what the fuck it is, Roblox or something. And she said, "Papa, I wish I could come over and sit on your lap right now." And I said, "Why, Daff?" "Because I want to fart on you." This girl can rip a fart that'll clear a room, and she's proud of it. And she's a pretty demure girl. She's very girly most of the time, except for farts. She finds farts as funny as I find farts, and I find farts very funny. Very funny. I'm proud of her. I'm proud. I'm glad that. So my point, I guess, a little bit of the point there is, she's going to hold on to some of those parts of life that I think we're losing. That farts are funny. Stop being fucking offended by everything in life.
I don't think we're losing that. I still know plenty of people who think farts are funny.
Yeah, but I think they're older.
3 of them are probably going to listen to this podcast.
Oh, I hope they love
We hope they like farts, because that's what it's about.
I was going to say, this is drawing a pretty hard line in the sand.
Yep.
The fart people and the non-fart people.
I have had all the machinations of fart. The most embarrassing fart ever is, I think, the first time I sharted with my wife, and we were in bed, and there was a little shart going on, and there was no other action. I wasn't like, we weren't going at it. I said, "Hey, I've got a really good idea. While we're going at it, I'm gonna fart." No, we're just in bed and farted. I sharted a little bit, and she had to change the bedding. That was the only time I was ever embarrassed by a fart. And that was 20-some years ago. And since then, I don't care anymore. I just don't. Occasionally a shart comes. It does. Even girls, Jess, I know you've never sharted because you are. But even girls shart, They do.
I'm aware.
Are you aware, Jess?
I am aware.
How come you're not sharing as much as we are?
Well, because my stories are not going to be nearly as exciting as yours. I didn't shart in my bed.
No. I've spoken to men who have full out shit their pants in the car.
I mean,
there's a famous story of Al Roker shitting his pants at the White House. He sharted.
What? I don't know this story.
Oh, what?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Chris, you know this story? Why don't I know this story?
I think it was shortly after he had his gastric bypass surgery or whatever. He was attending a function at the White House, and he sharted. He crapped himself and had to go to the bathroom at the White House and throw his underwear away in the bathroom at the White House and freeball it for the rest of the night till he could get out of there. So Al Roker, America's weatherman, shit himself at the White House.
How fantastic is it? How come that's not one of those crossover talks they do during the weather? "Hey, Savannah, you know what? I shit myself the other day at the White House. Listen, we got a high coming up over here, but there's a low over here. How come we don't get that story?"
I'm pretty sure throwing your underwear away in the White House bathroom is the low. That's the low front.
Yeah.
That's right there.
So good. Imagine the person who found those underwear. They're probably still holding on to them, thinking the president's.
Secret Service found my underwear. High 78 today, Savannah. We're going to go.
I'm shit at 1600 Avenue
on the Today Show.
Well,
we ought to get Wesley Snipes to do the movie. Be like, sharding at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. What was that movie he did? The Murder at 1600 Pennsylvania. Remember that movie? He could play Al Roker, a muscly Al Roker.
We need to do something that's got Jackie Chan in it. There's a bunch of action stuff, and Chris Rock is in the other direction, and then in the middle of it, Jackie Chan's like, "I need your help." "No, I just shit." "Okay."
wow. I hate to end on such a high note, but
But is it though? Is it really though?
And do I really hate?
Nobody's high, but it sounds like everybody's high.
Yeah.
Jess hasn't said a word for 47 minutes.
No.
So I'm sure she's ready to wrap this thing.
I mean, we've been talking for a really long time.
But here's the thing, Jess. Sometimes Jess doesn't say things verbally, but if people could see the feed that we see,
says it with her eyes, doesn't she?
Oh my! There are times I start to say something, and I see Jess, her eyes go fucking roll back in her head, and she's going, "Oh, here we fucking go."
They're gonna get
Here we
stuck
go.
that
Always
way.
love that. Always
We're
love
about to get canceled right now. Go ahead. Fuck us already.
No, they say these women, they look at you and they've
These
got the
women.
fuck me eyes, and Jess has got fuck you eyes.
Oh, you ain't never lied, Chris. You ain't never lied.
I think we need to remake the Betty Davis Eyes song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you, eyes.
Yes.
You eyes.
Brad, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
nice.
it was absolutely a highlight of my life. I have to be honest with
It
you.
would be cool.
Okay, you need to get out more.
Now that you know us, and when next week Chris will be healthier, be cool if you show up now and again.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys,
Next
anytime.
week, when I break my leg in 4 spots next week, if you want to show up too, that's fine.
I mean, there's no telling what you're going to contract next. If now you're compounding diseases together because you're clearly an attention whore. Having the flu wasn't bad enough. Now you had to combine 2 at once.
How did
Yeah.
I get chlamydia? God damn it.
Well, I could explain that, but I need a diagram in about 15 minutes. And we don't have that kind of time.
All right, you guys.
Well, I wish you all the best and dry farts moving forward.